Hello everyone, this is Isaiah Smith, showing you all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Timeline, and first gen, we all know about the Millennium Puzzle, how it was built, and stuff like that, and then, pretty much we know Pharaoh was a friend of Yugi's, and that the Pharaoh pretty much was, named Atem, that's his name. The Millennium Ring is Zork, so keep that in mind. And then this is like the beginning of Duel Monsters, where Pegasus was the creator of Duel Monsters. And then we transition to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, which is Gen 2 basically, because the Gen 1 had Fusion and Ritual. This one mostly had Fusion monsters. And this was pretty much a high school called Duel Academy. And there was this guy called Jaden. He's seen Duel Monster Spirits. He had some friends. And then he dueled a couple of duelists. And then he fused himself with Yubel because he was feeling bad about Yubel, like getting tortured as a child, and that she was a danger to everyone. And then he was the Supreme King, so he's the reincarnation of the Supreme King. And then we know little to none about Night Shroud, which is the darkness. He wanted to save people from darkness, but it ended up failing. So, and then after when it was 4 years later, Jaden dueled against Atem, but it was actually a dream, I guess, instead of time traveling. And that's what happened. So, and then he graduated and moved on. Then we move on to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, where they have the motorcycles and they have the synchro monsters. And then there was an organization called Iliaster, which had a system called Reverse Zero. They were trying to stop that. Bruno, Paradox, Aporia, and Zone pretty much wanted to stop Zero Reverse, but Zone had other plans. He wanted to save the future. That's why he looks like Yusei. He wanted to be exactly like Yusei from the past. So he went to he went from the future to the past, and that was kind of weird. And then Yusei defeated the Dark Signers. Yusei defeated Iliaster, and everybody was saved from the destruction. And they wanted to get rid of Synchro Monsters. So, but then Yusei saved the future because he defeated Zone and changed the future. Then we go on to another route, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal is connected to GX. It's not connected to 5Ds, so don't get that confused. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal has these dual gazers where you can see virtual dual monsters, I believe. And they summon these numbers that are Xyz monsters, so they can't be destroyed by battle except by a number, but that's the anime. So, and then he had a friend named Astral, which is from the spirit realm, and he has the Emperor Key. Plus, there was the Baryons. They got reincarnated as people and then they became Baryons afterwards. So, and then Don Thousand was the member of Astroworld. And besides that, number 96, Dark Mist, I believe, is Don Thousand. So pretty much Don Thousand was a number card, which is pretty funny. And then after that, they were trying to destroy Astroworld, but Yuma and his friends saved Astroworld, and Shark became a Baryon. And then after the final fight between Shark and Yuma, Yuma won and Shark died, but he got revived afterwards. So, and then one final duel against Astral and Yuma, and then Yuma won. So, and that's how Zexal concluded. And it extends to Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Now this is a little bit tricky. Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, just based off of that, is from Zexal to Arc 5, so it goes from Duel Monsters GX and 5Ds, and then Duel Monsters GX and Zexal through Arc 5, and it pretty much, so what happened in the beginning, there was a character called Zark, and he wanted to destroy the world, but then there's another character called Ray, and had 4 cards that she played, and it split Zark and Ray together into 4 pieces plus 4 dimensions to the original dimension, so that's why it's kind of messed up on the timeline. And I feel like if it wasn't for Zark, none of this would have been happening. It would have been an original dimension, but it was a pendulum, synchro, fusion, and Xyz dimension. And then the Lancers, which was Yuya's team, defeated Duel Academy, and then also dueled against Zark, and Zark was defeated by Ray again. And then everything was back to normal until Yuya and Zuzu came back. So, and then we go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. This is kind of a different timeline, or a different universe. So basically all it is like, so remember when Varus flew into the sky, and the sky miraged itself. It's the same sky from Dark Side of Dimensions, so it might be from that era. And then Blink Frames is just basically a virtual reality system. So, and there's this guy called Playmaker who got kidnapped, and they called it the Lost Incident. So they had like 6 kids who got kidnapped, and they pretty much got kidnapped and got tortured. So, and then they got rescued afterwards. Other than that, I think there were some 6 Ignis with different attributes. So they have Cyber's attribute monsters that they have in their decks. And then the only Ignis that didn't want people and Ignis to coexist was the light Ignis. He wanted to get rid of humans instead of Ignis, and he failed to succeed that plan, and the humans won. And then afterwards, I was depressed because of his friends sacrificed themselves to save him, and I is this dark Ignis.
Come on, Isaiah.
As I was saying, probably has to do with now that I changed his look. He was so depressed that he lost all his friends, by all the Ignis friends that he had, that they sacrificed themselves. So then Playmaker and I had one last duel and I died, but then he got revived back during the end of Reigns. So, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Seventh is probably another timeline or another dimension, which we don't know, but it's all about rush dueling, and it doesn't have much of like rituals, fusion, synchro exceeds, pendulums, and stuff like that, and links too. It just has like tribute summons and then maximums too. But then we go on to Go Rush. Go Rush should have been the first one before Seventh, because Seventh leads to the future of Go Rush. But Go Rush is like, it's kind of confusing. It goes back and forth. So Go Rush takes the timeline before Seventh, and Seventh doesn't go before Go Rush. So that is a little confusing, but I mean, Go Rush is just all about aliens and rush dueling. So I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.